let's talk about diversity and how important it is to your companies, how it supports your business strategy. Leo.
Yeah, well, I'm a beer guy. Hey, over 50% of the growth will come in Hispanic, markets alone. That's just in the demographics. That's where beer's going to grow. So we have to play, and we have to be successful at that, and we have to mirror, not only our communities and our workforce, but our customers. It's a top-down, bottom-up sort of effort. I mean, if you look at the whole organization, I think of an organization as a big archery target, right on the chest, right? And the bullseye is your customer. And the people who are in the next circle closest to the customer are the people who make, sell, ship your beer. It's not the CEO. The CEO's out here in orbit someplace,
Literally.
But what leadership has to do... Huh?
Literally out there.
Yeah, well, here we go. It's the beer business. But what leadership has to do is set the standard, right, and take it seriously.
The only thing I would add to what Leo said is, again, I think when you explain to people that there's a whole business rationale for why you're doing this as opposed to just it's the socially correct thing to do, I think you get a lot more buy-in within your organization when people understand that it really is helping you move the needle. It's helping you open more restaurants, sell more product, therefore more jobs, better share price, et cetera, is a big thing. And so it sounds like, very much like that. We go after employment, we go after suppliers, we go after franchisees, we go after community, we go after, marketing, every aspect you can think of. We have different inclusion goals. And for us, I think the other thing is it's really as much globally too, because I think everybody talks about, inclusion or diversity and they're really thinking only in the US, but if you're really trying to run a global enterprise, I think having people sitting at your table that, actually grew up in Latin America and grew up in Asia. I mean, I always give Coke a lot of credit. You walk into Atlanta and you run into people from, I'd say 80% of their executive team is non-US. Ours is probably more like 40, and I'd certainly love to get it more closer to 75.
In 1992, I moved down to Mexico City to work for Carlos Slim, who was our partner for Teléfonos de México. And when I went down there, the wireless business in Mexico was this little nascent business. We had 20,000 subscribers, customers. And we began talking, it's time to begin to grow this business. And I came from the U.S. and we knew how to do wireless in the U.S., right? And it's real simple. You get people who will spend $70 or $80 a month with you, and you give them a phone and just turn them loose and they'll just use the devil out of it, right? And I'll never forget Carlos Slim saying it's the wrong model, it'll never work in Mexico. And I'm saying, well, you're crazy, you'll never recover your costs. And that was before he was the richest man in the world. I could call him crazy, all right? But he said, no, you have to think about a model where you sell these services for under $20 a month. And then I think you can make 40% margins, right? And you can penetrate the lowest demographics and then the lowest economic strata and create a business. And I will never forget, my reaction. This is impossible. I was 32 years old, I think, at the time, and but off we went. Today, that little company has 200 million subscribers, and it's done quite well. But that has always been a reflection for me to just stop and think about. You can't understand how to market to various cultural segments if you don't have people who know them intimately, that came from those segments, that came from those demographics. And so for me, as John said, there is just a pure, simple business reason why you need a diverse workforce.
For us, when a company is, or a hospital or a school is looking to hire a company like mine, the diversity and inclusion journey that we've been on, that differentiates, I believe, out of that just cost of our fee in terms of the total value that we can deliver to a client is extremely important. My executive team is heavily involved and they all sponsor on a rotating basis our network groups. They're involved in our mentoring programs. If you're on my executive team, 25% of your bonus is tied to diversity and inclusion targets. That's also, thank you. In this economic environment, that's also uncoupled. I've uncoupled that from any financial bonus objectives. In other words, it's uncoupled, so that those dollars can't be touched by performance of the company. They're there to be paid out on diversity inclusion objectives, and it's something that we've strived for. It's And they are tough stretch targets. These are not easy objectives to meet. We continue to raise the bar and drive on our journey. So we call it out in our strategy. I think that starts with the business case, and we've explained it through the business case, and we've actually tried to translate that to our clients and customers every day in terms of our differentiation around diversity and inclusion.